Hello and welcome to Joyful, the podcast that will help you live a more joyful life. I'm your host, Chloe Markham, and it's my mission to help you find more joy every single day. This podcast is a deep dive into ways to reduce your stress, your overwhelm, anxiety, and that voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, whilst also diving into the methods, philosophies, and protocols that help us live more connected, grounded, and ultimately happier lives. This is about living life on purpose. Without any further ado, let's dive into today's episode. As we have been accustomed to lately, let's start with a breath. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, however you're listening to this, can you maybe plant your feet on the ground, get a long spine, and just take a big old breath in, whilst maybe smiling about it? I don't know. And then any tension in your body, in your head, open mouth, sigh it out. It's like I do that for me more than anyone else. I don't know if you find that helpful, but I definitely do. Starting this podcast is helpful. And let that be a lesson to us all. Anything we're doing, can we start with a big breath? It's going to help. And that's the end of the podcast. Thanks for listening. I'm kidding. I'm here for some good stuff today. You hear my chair making squeaks. Oh my word. Today's a good day, wherever you are. Just have a feeling it's a good day. And if it hasn't been so far, it's going to be after this. I have been for a walk with a girlfriend today. What a joy that is. And actually, said girlfriend, she's one of my closest friends. She's called Harriet. All being well, Harriet will feature on this podcast at some point, right, Harriet? Because she has a big heart, and I think you guys can take a lot from the words she speaks about. She's been through some stuff. She's also a yoga teacher, and there's so much love. You know what I mean? So that's going to happen in my in-person event in February 2024. Make sure you are on the early bird list for that. I will leave a link in the show notes. But right now, I want to talk about living life a little bit more enjoyably. And if you've listened to any of my episodes, any of this podcast so far, or been to any of my classes, or done any of this stuff with me, you know that that's kind of my MO. Because we aren't getting out of this alive, right? And last week I was speaking about working in an office job that I absolutely hated. And this realisation that other people hate it too, that's not okay. This is happening all over the place. Like, you know, populations of people all dealing with this level of dissatisfaction with their work and their like, that's not okay. So look, I've made my entire business, my entire life about helping people and myself and you feel better. And enjoyment, joy, happiness, this is my jam. And I use tools and yoga and meditation and all of this good stuff to help us get there. And this idea in my head today, I actually sent an email about this. If you don't get my emails, what are you doing? Please just subscribe, because they're going to make your day better. But I talked about this in my email this morning, because I play the piano, right? I took my grade 5 last summer of 2023. And it's a wonderful thing. I love being an adult learner, because I'm not learning to be an expert or to go viral or to be famous or play in some sort of crazy thing. I'm just playing because I really love to play the piano. And right now I'm in a position, like for a whole year I was studying for my grade 5, and now I'm in a position where I get to choose the music that I play and that I learn. And it was so funny, this like thought process I had the other day, because I was looking at this, I think it was a Chopin piece. I love classical piano. Minor keys are better. And I was looking at it and thinking, I really want to learn that, but is that a good idea? Like, is that the right thing to do? Is that the right thing to do? And that, my friends, is the crux of my problem with myself and like society at large. The fact that I think there's a right or wrong way for me to learn the piano, i.e. my hobby, is the problem. And it took me a second to realise what I'd done. And this was all like just a mental process, right? I wasn't speaking to anyone about this. I was just thinking about it. And so, okay, let me put this in context, because I started this business. I started teaching yoga in 2016. And since then, it's been hustle time, baby. I have put in more hours than the week possesses, blood, sweat, so many tears. We had, and by we, I mean me and my ex. He supported me in the studio that we ran, brick and mortar studio in New York, obviously COVID. It was like the hustle never stopped, right? And when you're in your 20s, as I was then, like late 20s, it was okay. And that's okay, I guess, if you want to do that. But even if I'm speaking to you now and you're in your 20s or younger, and certainly if you're older, this hustle culture is bullshit. And I say that with the full force of that word. It's fucking bullshit. I don't know why. I mean, we could talk about that for hours, I suppose. Like the economics and the social norm of the hustle culture. Social media being a big part of that. But the fact is that we live in a society that encourages us to close our eyes and hustle on. Get on with it. You're in pain. Oh, doesn't matter. Just crack on. Oh my god, you're not sleeping because you're working so hard? Wow, you need a badge or some sort of like cool hat, because that's amazing. And then also on top of this, I'm speaking to my entrepreneurs, or anyone really, but like, we have to work that kind of level in order to be successful. And we kind of have to have an element of misery. So, you know what? I don't know. I'm 33. Yeah, I'm 33 now. Trying to forget how old I am, because I think that's a really positive thing. But I'm 33, and I'm over the past couple of years, I've really found this slowing down. I've had a lot of trauma and stuff over the past couple of years. So I've really found the benefit in slowing down. But now, and I'm talking about recently, man, like the last couple months, I have found, like, I don't know, it's like I'm moving into my soft girl era, right? I'm moving into a place of ease and softness and running my business with ease and with enjoyment. And you know what? If I have a project, that's cool. I'll work on my project because I love my business and I love all these projects that I work on. For instance, right now I'm creating a course, or a bundle of classes rather. I'm creating a bundle of classes that will sit in the courses section of the Yoga Revolution membership. And this is a lower body free section of the membership because, well, put simply, one of my besties has broken her ankle, and I need to support that. And there's a whole bunch of other reasons too. I want to be more inclusive. So look, that's a project, and I can sit here, and in the past, this is what I've done. Okay, project, go. In my head, this shit needs to be finished yesterday. Okay, so I have to stay up all night. I have to literally like turn off every facet of my body except the part of my brain capable of creating this thing, of being productive, and work until I've forgotten my own name. And that's what I used to do, and I'm still prone to do that now. And can I just so everyone's clear, what happens when I do that is maybe I'm doing that for 2 days and then I'm like, oh my god, I can't function. I'm done for at least 3 or 4 days afterwards, and I still try to work and I'm like, why aren't I doing good work right now? Like, why is my productivity just falling off a cliff? Why is my gut being weird? Why have I got like headaches and anxiety? Why am I exhausted? Right? Because I'm seeing this thing as like a desperation to be productive, to get stuff done, because that was like my sense of worth. And not to diss on my ex, I probably have in other podcast episodes, you're a great guy really, but you know what I mean, it's just not great. But that was the kind of environment that I was in. Like, at least I felt like being productive is my self-worth. You know, getting stuff done is the way that I can be valuable to not only myself but to my relationship. And, you know, I'm not blaming anybody for that, just so we're clear, but I'm moving out of that, massively shifting out of this headspace that I've been in arguably all my life. Right? I'm having this like epiphany, really, and I want you to have the same thing, because life is just easier and more relaxed, yet I'm still getting stuff done. And actually the irony is I'm able to kind of get more done and be more organized and more in flow because I'm more relaxed about everything. Okay, so if I go back to the original point of this stuff, I was talking about my piano, right? Choosing a piece and worrying that I was going to do it wrong. And I think this is kind of an extension of this hustle culture. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I think we kind of go through life setting ourselves, and habits are great. Listen to my previous podcast episode on habit. But we set ourselves these habits and these to-do lists. It's almost because we see ourselves as slovenly, gluttonous, lazy pieces of shit that will get nothing done unless we kind of beat ourselves up about it. You know what I mean? So the right and wrong is coming in here, because it's like, okay, if my goal is to get to grade 8 piano, which I suppose it is, I would love that. Is this piece right? So let's rewind that, or like reframe that really. If my goal is to have a 6-pack by next summer and to look amazing in a bikini, it's not, by the way, just so we're really clear. But if that was my goal, is this practice this morning right or wrong? Is this yoga practice right or wrong? Is this workout right or wrong? Is this hobby right or wrong? Okay, but if I just for a second, I mean, those are two very little examples, but you can basically apply this to anything that you're kind of going through. But if I go to my grade 8 piano, why do I want to get a grade 8 piano? Because it's a sense of accomplishment, of course, because I can be proud of that, of course, but also there's a sense that I'm not good enough until I achieve something. Look, and that's the same with this hustle culture that I was just talking about. I'm probably not good enough until I'm producing stuff. And this is exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about my ex and being in that relationship. My sense of worth is on the stuff that I can do and produce. And getting to my grade 8 piano is sort of that. And so that right or wrong decision is exactly that. I'm basing that in whether this is right or wrong, in my mission to be worthy in terms of how I think the world looks at me and my position within that world. All in my head, it's all a mental construct, but you see what I'm saying? Okay, if we go to the abs thing, like, is this workout right or wrong in relation to building my core and getting really strong so I have a fucking 6-pack so I look supermodel bikini friendly on the beach? Okay, well, look, it's the same thing. If that was my aim, and let me be honest, it isn't my aim, but I still have this idea that I am too much or too fat or too short. I don't know, I can't have the short thing really, but and neither can I have the fat thing. Fuck it. I like food, and fuck you for thinking otherwise. But it's an enough thing again, right? If we look like a Victoria's Secret model, or if we look as good as we can get on the way to being there, it's an enoughness thing. We then are going to feel accepted, relaxed. Like, okay, and just to kind of pivot that slightly, that change that slightly, like, and I'm asking myself this too, like, if I'm wearing a swimsuit or a bikini, and I know so many of my girlfriends who will resonate with this question, if I'm wearing it in public, place I don't know, I'm definitely on show, the light's bright, there's no hiding, baby, what is the feeling that goes through our heads? And we try to cover up because we don't feel like we're ashamed, right? We're ashamed of ourselves because we don't match up to what society has told us is this level of enoughness. I don't know, there's all shades of wrong, and I want to say to you right now, before I, like, continue with this diatribe, but, like, please wear the swimsuit. I mean, it's perhaps not right now, it's October as I'm speaking, it's quite cold outside, but, regardless, please just know that you're enough, even if you have cellulite and stretch marks and weird things going on, and you're not a size 6, and you're super pale like me. Hey, I'm never gonna tan. I bought some out of a bottle. What the fuck? Every summer I buy fake tan. What am I doing? Why? Why do I do it to myself? Anyway, right. So just to kind of, like, bring us back around, I'm talking about this idea that right and wrong is so often, I mean, aside from morality, I'm just going to assume that you're a morally good kind of person. You love people, you're kind to people, la la la. So this idea outside of morality of right or wrong, in terms of the decisions that we make in our lives, is so often based in our self-worth and not feeling good enough. And then it can lead to us burning out. We're not doing it for the enjoyment. We're doing it because we feel like we should. Okay, so let's reframe it for a second. Let's think about this core workout that we're going to do in the morning. Is it right or wrong if my goal is to be quote-unquote bikini ready? Which you already are, by the way. Okay, so what if I reframe that and say, hey, do you know what? I'm going to really enjoy this yoga class. And then we go into the yoga class, and sure, some parts of it are hard, but if we go in with the framing of enjoying it, how much easier is it then to get up and go to a yoga class or to step onto your mat? So it's almost like a push and pull. The pull is, I get to do something I really love. I get to, like, enjoy this section of my day. And actually, I want to talk about enjoying our entire day in a second, but, like, let's talk about the yoga class. I get to enjoy this 20 minutes, this half hour, this hour-long class. How exciting is that? Damn straight I'm getting up and going for it. Versus, is this class going to be the core workout I need in order to feel like I'm moving toward this sense of enoughness? Because I'm not enough right now. So I'm moving into a yoga class, and you can replace yoga class with whatever, the music, whatever. I'm going into this thing to become more worthy of this space that I'm taking up on this planet. Fuck me. No, that's not motivating, is it? Because you're starting off on the foot of, I'm not enough, this is shit. I need to do more. And actually, when we look at it like that, it is the hustle culture. It is this, like, do more of the things that are going to make you, quote unquote, enough. Better musicians, better yogis, better looking, better salesmen, like better parents, better partners. Whereas what if, and this is the call, this is the kind of, the thing I'm really imploring you and myself, look, this is a movement for me too, to start putting into our days, right? What if we moved into things with more enjoyment? What if you decided to do the things and to make the decisions from a place of joy and love and excitement rather than a place of right and wrong? I'm just putting it out there. Because, like, and this is always in my mind, like, I've dealt with a few deaths in my time. One of them I was quite young, and it was a suicide, and it was hard, man. It was like, I didn't know pain like that could exist. And I think that was a gift, really. Obviously, it was horrible. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, and I wouldn't want to go through that again, but the gift of that is giving me this kind of perspective, right? Like, oh my God, we're all gonna die. We're all, like, racing toward the end point here. So, and, you know, that's why I say sometimes, like, I'm such a fan of job quitting stories, because, you know, like, if you've listened to my last week's podcast, you'll know that I've been in jobs where I hated, and life's too short to be in jobs you hate. Quit your job, yeah, let's be poor and happy. I don't know. It's not right for everybody, just to caveat that, that's not right for everybody. But life is short, and I want us to enjoy things more. So I want us to go through life, like right now, what are you doing right now? How can you enjoy it a little bit more? And when I ask myself that question, everything just goes, right? My whole body just relaxes a bit. Maybe I curl up the corners of my mouth a bit. Oh yeah, it's quite nice. Like, I can enjoy this right now. This is quite nice. And what a privilege it is for me to be making these podcasts that people listen to. Thanks for listening. And just, I want to give you the example of meditation while we're on it, because we go into meditation, it's such an, like, it perfectly fits into what I'm talking about, really. Meditation is this micromanaging thing, and really that's all we're doing when we go right or wrong. When we determine things as right or wrong, we're micromanaging. And our meditation practice is similar, because, you know, we see it as this horrible, okay, I'm going to manage my thoughts, I'm going to control everything right now. Who enjoys that? That's really horrible, you know? But what if we go into meditation with a sense of enjoyment, like, I'm just going to be curious, and I'm going to enjoy some quiet time where I don't have to do anything or plan anything or remember anything. Especially with guided meditations, or like if you have a timer set, it's so releasing, right? Suddenly schedules and time don't exist. You can just sit and feel what it's like to exist, right? And so that's why meditation can be so fucking hard, and why fitness classes in January can be so hard to maintain, because we're going at them from the wrong place. We feel like we should, rather than, oh my God, I get to enjoy this thing. And then inevitably we go to, like, I don't know, CrossFit classes, or I'm going to the gym. Who enjoys that? Like, you might enjoy that. I know plenty of people who enjoy that stuff. I don't enjoy that stuff. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it. Find something that you do enjoy. Mix it up a bit occasionally. Like, enjoy this stuff. But I think the whole point of this is that you have no idea what's ahead. No idea. Neither do I. We don't, as a species. We can't predict the future. I mean, there's modelling, but not really. I have a friend, in fact, the friend I was talking about earlier, she's going to be on the podcast, and I hope you don't mind me sharing her. But she just had massive shit happen to her in the past few years with her business, COVID and everything, and it's got to a point where she has had to sell her business, right? This business she's known all her life, her family business, right? That's a really challenging thing. Speaking of my friend earlier who broke her ankle, that's a really challenging thing. Breakups, death, life is fucking hard. And we have these problems that present themselves to us all the time. And we think we know the way out. And if we can't see the way out, then we despair, because there is no right and wrong there. There is just nothing. There is nothing. But actually, miracles and goodness and solutions exist out of the construct of your mind. Can I just say that? We have this arrogance as a species to think we know everything. We know nothing. So like the solutions are going to come to you. And if you don't have them right now, that's okay. I want us to lean into enjoyment, whatever it is. Even if you work in 3 crappy jobs and you hate them, what can you do to shift slightly and try and enjoy that more? Enjoy what you're doing more, because ironically, that's the stuff that's going to propel you forward into this future with all the solutions and the goal achieving and la 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 la. Like, we're going to get there much quicker and in bigger and more magical ways than we ever thought possible if we can start to look around. It's a very stoic philosophy, really, right? Is like, what can you change? What can you accept? And what's the difference between the two, right? Can we accept this stuff more? Lean into it. Yeah. And ride the wave. Because you have no idea how good the things are that are ahead of you. The people that you haven't met yet who are going to love you, who are going to impact your life in a really positive way. The things that you're going to start to do that are going to impact your life in a really positive way. If only we would shift out of the idea of our choices being right or wrong. So instead, when you have a choice next, when you're thinking about micromanaging a situation, trying to make it fit this idea that you have in your head, getting frustrated when it doesn't. What if we take a step back from trying to fit a square block in a round hole and actually just being like, hey, I need a block for this hole. Do you know what I'm saying? What if we just accept more and enjoy the things that we're doing, enjoy the choices we make. There is no right, there is no wrong. Again, I wrote a blog post on this earlier this week about choices. I made a terrible choice with a long distance flight. Thought I was upgrading the long distance. Turns out I wasn't. I was upgrading the 2-hour flight from Amsterdam back to Leeds Bradford. Most expensive sandwich I have ever bought. But I made that choice, and we can talk about nervous systems as well here. Like, there's a lot to it, but I made that choice out of right and wrong. Like, oh, this is gonna make me feel better. What if I just took time for a second to be in that moment with my sister? If you read the blog, you know what I'm talking about. But I'll put a link in the show notes. There is no right or wrong, and that mistake that I made has just made me laugh since, right? It wasn't a wrong thing to do. I learnt from it. Like, on the spectrum of that, on the other side of the spectrum of that is my friend who killed himself. Like, where's the gift in that? And I beat myself up for a long time thinking I was part of it, you know, the cause of it and all sorts. But the gift in that is in loving myself as perhaps I feel like I should have loved him, and also this art of perspective. Like, how amazing is that at 21 years old to be given this big old dose of perspective, and to understand that our mental health is wildly important. And here I am 12 years later, having made my career out of it. You know, it's hard to say that when it's so big as someone taking their own life, but there's gifts in this stuff. My point being, and I've waffled on now, look, I'm waffling. I want you just to start taking these choices a little bit less seriously and learn to feel more. And what feels good, baby? What's the most enjoyable thing you can do right now? Continue to ask yourself that until you have climbed the mountain, you have built the empire, until you have found your man, whatever it is, whatever your goal is. What can we do to enjoy this more? Our habits, our hobbies, our work, all of it. And by the way, I'll talk about this another time, maybe next week. Getting super duper flexible. Like super flexy, foot behind the head. I don't really think that's a relevant goal. Just saying. Why the fuck do we need to do that? We don't. Look after your hips, baby. And on that note, I want to end this podcast with my good to be alive moment. So if you're new, if you've forgotten, I just want to list things at the end of these podcasts. List things that make it good to be alive. Like, fuck me, ain't it good to be alive because this exists? My good to be alive moment is, do you know what? I have to say, I went for a walk with Harriet today. Like, getting out in the sunshine with a crazy spaniel, big hugs with friends. I don't know, like a good hug with someone you love who you haven't seen in a while is magical. And being in the woods and the autumn, I love autumn. Ugh, it's good to be alive when these things exist. Thank you so much for listening, my friend. I hope you're feeling sparkly and inspired to live a more joyful life. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a rating. These things are invaluable to me, and share it with people who need it. This is about inspiring more people to be more connected and lead happier and more joyful lives. Join my inner circle for more inspiration. Learn more at the website theyogarevolution.co.uk and chloemarkham.co.uk. I'll see you in the next episode.